Alpine Battle. So we're playing on the Alpine Ridge, and my opponent's name is Jack Balan. You might have seen my Fall of the Samurai thing, but I've been playing Fall of the Samurai for a bit, but I decided to go back to the original Shogun, and it is a good game. It is like better than the Fall of the Samurai online, in my opinion. It is, for one thing, it's more challenging, and for another thing, it's a bit more fun. Do you know what I mean? It kind of gives you a bit more of an equal standing. I mean, I used to win for the majority of the time on Fall of the Samurai, and I am like doing a very bad streak on this one. I think I have like 38.4% winning streak, which is very small in my opinion. Anyway, so I'll kind of do my army. Tell you what my army consists of. It is 10 units of these Katana Samurai. Some of them are veterans. 2 veteran Naginata Samurai just to guard my flanks. I have my general here and my veteran light cavalry. And I'll just take you through my opponent's army. He has 5 units of these Shigaru, kind of like to slow down my advance. He was hoping first that he can just shoot me this shit with his missiles. He has, I think it's 6 units of these Foot Samurai. He has 2 units of these Naginata Warrior Monks, which are pretty powerful units and plus they're veteran. He has some Foot Samurai. He has his general here. I don't know if he has any cavalry. He doesn't seem to have brought any cavalry, so yeah. So I said I'd go for this first, since I would be facing a missile army, and the armory would be good because it kind of like decrease my losses from his units, from his powerful matchlocks or whatever he's using. So I just said I'd kind of to capture that, and he goes for the obvious one. He goes for the archery dojo, which increases their reload rate. So we're kind of altogether we're kind of a bit even. And the thing about these guys is they will try to slow down your charges. They know a thing. He probably hoped I was bringing a lot of cavalry. Because if I did, I would have been gone. But I'm really bringing an infantry army, which is kind of like I'm weak to this. If his plan, he probably hoped that I'd charge in. It'll take me a long time to kind of take out his Shigaru, and by that time my units will be so beaten up that when they do get into a melee fight with these missiles, they'll be kind of gone, and he could just charge around and take them out. But I didn't really allow him to do that, and I'm not really that much of a fool when it comes to these kind of things. So I said I'd kind of wait because I saw his position was pretty good. So I said I'd wait out a bit. So yeah, my formation is pretty basic. I didn't really want to go anything too fancy, like I usually don't. I usually try to bring some katana army. I usually bring kind of like a katana army, and with a tiny bit of cavalry and some flanking from guys to help to protect the flanks. I don't really go into anything very fancy with my armies. But this guy seems to have gone in for the thing, his kind of main bit. And I'm just repositioning my men here real quick. And while we're waiting for my enemy to move, I just show you my veterans. There we go. There's my Emperor's Pikes. Let's see some of my Katana veterans. There's one. Is my enemy's Bane. This one is Royal Irish Guards. And these are Fans of the Air, which is the Air of Carthage, because I am a big fan of him. And then there's like Die Now for my other Naginata unit. And then my Chasers Part 3, because I have 3 veteran light cavalry that I call Chasers. And then there's another one called the Emperor's Moppers. So yeah, I always try to give my units creative names. I don't want to give them like shitty names. Like some people name their veteran units 1, 2, 3. This guy didn't even bother naming some of his veterans. Let me just see if there's any veterans in his army that he bothered to name. He brought some Lone Solar Shigaru, which are very Espada Larga too, which is not in English, obviously. So yeah, even if he did name his veterans, he probably didn't. He probably didn't name them in English. So. But he did speak English, he just named them in English because I was talking to him a tiny bit. these people, not that many people on Shogun are very chatty. I mean, and you'll find more chatty people on Roman Empire than you will on these games. But anyway, so yeah, I was just waiting for him to take the bait, and he does do so in grand fashion. Let me just kind of fast forward a bit. Yeah, he sends out his Naginata warrior monks, hoping that I take the bait and charge in my whole force to kind of take out his Naginatas. But I see the danger that they cause, so I just kind of send my light cavalry over here to the trees. Not trying to hide them, just kind of get the kind of like a flanking move on these Naginatas, since they're far away from the protection of their lines. And he sees this, he puts up his Yari Ashigaru on this side, and he's bringing up his monks, and I just said I'd charge in, but he really devastates my light cavalry, as you'll see now in a few seconds. I'll just give you a good view. Yeah, so my light cavalry were devastated by his Naginatas. And I don't really do that good of a damage to his monks, just like kill 4 of them or something. I only killed about 4 of his Naginata monks, or 5. And I kind of see that they're coming a bit close. I don't know why, I kind of threw my journal by accident, and I said I'd just charge in. Since he's kind of like, his army's a tiny bit messed up, and they're kind of like, all his missiles are kind of in the front. So away from his Yari Ashigaru, but he does bring up his Yari Ashigaru, but it's kind of a small bit too late. They're messed up, and they can't form spear walls, so they wouldn't like be that much of a threat. So I kind of moved my Naginatas up to this kind of 2 flanking maneuvers, and I just charged my katanas almost straight in. But they are really doing some significant damage to my units. Luckily enough, they weren't veterans, but still, they are doing some serious damage. So I wanted some guys to be kind of like they take the fucking hits while I send in my other guys. And I just see this Yarish girl trying to flank me out, and I just spot it just in time. And I just charge my whole units in. He's bringing back his matchlocks. He's no fool, but I kind of it's too late now. I just have my katanas in. They're in good enough position. He didn't really have any cavalry to outflank or any other kind of infantry. So yeah, he did have his I don't think he sent them in, does he? Yeah, there's his non-Sword Ashigaru veterans, but they're not going to be that good against my Katana Samurai. And there's my Emperor's Pikes, which I send around to try to take out the guys on the backs. Because I didn't want them to keep on firing at my men while they're checking out his units. So yeah, this battle, because it was pretty much won once I got my infantry in and he wasn't moving. So yeah, that's probably his mistake. He probably should have kept them behind his infantry at all times and formed spear wall with his Yarishgaru. He probably thought I'd just sit there and take all of the missile things, but I just said I'm not no fool. I just said I'd charge in my units. So yeah, sorry, I'm just. Anyway, yeah. So that's basically the end. Really, the end of the battle. I've just taken out the last of his foot samurai, his other units. But then he kind of something kind of happens here. My guys, another kind of stupid thing my guys do. Once it happens, so I'll just show you. I'm just kind of flanking out, taking out this last Naginata Samurai he has here. Naginata Warrior Monk Heroes, he had veteran Warrior Monk Heroes. And I was just sending my general up to kind of like give them a bit more morale. I'll try to give them. He's really more of a leadership general than any other kind of general. I really do up his leadership tree. And I just said, look, I try to take them to attack these guys, but for some reason, these kind of guys kind of do kind of a weird shit. They kind of, for one, they're not even really that much in formation. And I really sent them after these guys, take in mind, because they're chasing after these guys. And they're not even going to chase after them 100% of the way, because I think they're going to turn around. You see, my general is turning around. Yeah, now, so they're turning around. And they're kind of getting stuck in this thing, which is a bit weird. And I thought these guys would take them out. Well, these guys were getting a bit mixed up. but they are still not doing anything, and their matchlocks can kind of shoot down my guys. And still, they're just going this way rather than going in and charging. I don't know what's going on, but it's a bit stupid, but yeah. Yeah, so I finally get them somehow. I kind of take them to move here rather than attack him. And his general tries to take out these Naganatas, but I turn them around and to give him the business. And by now he know I said like GG because he lost, basically. And generals usually rout once their whole army's gone. So yeah, there we go. It was a pretty good match. It's one of the few victories I wanted to show you. Just to kind of teach you a few lessons. He should have just left his infantry in front, so that he could have done it. I have faced another army kind of like this, and I have failed because he had the ridge. I stupidly tried to charge in. So yeah, that's it. And like comment.